Ancient China boasts one of the world's oldest and most complex civilizations, with a history spanning thousands of years. Its development is marked by significant cultural, political, and technological advancements that have had a lasting impact on the world. Prehistoric China, 7000 to 1600 BCE. Early settlements and cultures, Neolithic era. The earliest known human settlements in China emerged around 7000 BCE during the Neolithic era. These communities marked the transition from nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyles to more stable agrarian societies. This period saw the domestication of plants and animals, leading to the development of agriculture. Millet was primarily cultivated in the northern regions, while rice farming thrived in the southern areas, particularly in the Yangtze River basin. These early agricultural practices allowed for the growth of permanent settlements and the development of complex societies. The Neolithic era in China also saw significant advancements in tool-making and pottery. Early inhabitants created a variety of stone tools for farming and hunting, and they developed techniques for making pottery, which was used for cooking, storage, and ceremonial purposes. The pottery from this period often features intricate designs and decorations, reflecting the artistic and cultural expressions of these early communities. Yangshao Culture, 5000 to 3000 BCE. The Yangshao culture, which flourished from 5000 to 3000 BCE, is one of the most well-documented Neolithic cultures in China. Centered along the middle reaches of the Yellow River, the Yangshao people are best known for their distinctive painted pottery. These ceramics, often adorned with geometric patterns and animal motifs, were not only functional, but also held significant cultural and religious meanings. The Yangshao culture is also notable for its early agricultural practices. The people of this culture cultivated millet as their primary crop and supplemented their diet with hunting, fishing, and gathering wild plants. The discovery of large storage pits suggests they practiced surplus food storage, which would have helped sustain their communities through periods of scarcity. Settlements from the Yangshao period were typically composed of clusters of semi-subterranean houses arranged around a central communal area. These villages were often fortified with ditches, indicating a need for protection and possibly reflecting social or inter-community conflicts. The social structure of Yangshao communities appears to have been relatively egalitarian, with little evidence of significant social stratification. Longshan Culture, 3000 to 1900 BCE. Following the Yangshao culture, the Longshan culture emerged around 3000 BCE and lasted until about 1900 BCE. The Longshan culture represented a significant step forward in the complexity and organization of early Chinese societies. This culture is particularly renowned for its advancements in pottery, jade carving, and the development of early forms of writing. Longshan pottery is characterized by its thin walls and black polished surfaces, often referred to as eggshell pottery due to its delicate nature. This high-quality pottery indicates a sophisticated level of craftsmanship and technological innovation. Additionally, jade carving reached new heights during this period, with intricate designs that suggest both artistic skill and the use of advanced tools. One of the most notable features of Longshan culture is the presence of walled settlements. These fortified towns, some with rammed earth walls, indicate an increased concern for defense and a higher degree of social organization. The construction of these walls required coordinated labor and resources, reflecting the emergence of a more hierarchical society with centralized authority. Archaeological evidence from Longshan sites also points to early forms of writing, predating the well-known oracle bone inscriptions of the Shang Dynasty. These proto-writing symbols were likely used for administrative and ritual purposes, suggesting the development of a rudimentary system of record-keeping and communication. The social stratification of Longshan culture is evident in burial practices, where elite individuals were interred with valuable grave goods, including jade, pottery, and other prestige items. This differentiation in burial customs highlights the growing complexity of social hierarchies and the increasing power of the elite class. Overall, the Neolithic era and the subsequent Yangshao and Longshan cultures laid the foundational groundwork for the development of Chinese civilization. These early societies pioneered agricultural techniques, advanced craft production, and established social structures that would influence the later dynasties and the broader trajectory of Chinese history. The Xia Dynasty, 2070 to 1600 BCE. Myth and reality. The Xia Dynasty occupies a unique place in Chinese history, straddling the line between legend and historical reality. Traditionally considered the first Chinese dynasty, the Xia Dynasty's existence was long regarded with skepticism, primarily known through ancient texts like the Records of the Grand Historian by Sima Qian. These texts recount the stories of wise and virtuous kings who laid the foundation for Chinese civilization. However, the absence of direct archaeological evidence left historians debating its historicity. In recent decades, archaeological discoveries have begun to shed light on the possible historical basis of the Xia Dynasty. Excavations at Erlitou in Henan province have uncovered a large, complex settlement dating to the same period traditionally attributed to the Xia Dynasty. These findings include sophisticated urban planning, bronze artifacts, and evidence of social stratification, suggesting the presence of an early state-level society that aligns with descriptions of the Xia Dynasty in ancient texts. The founder. Yu the Great, the legendary founder of the Xia Dynasty, is a figure shrouded in myth and revered in Chinese culture. According to tradition, Yu earned his title through his extraordinary efforts in controlling the catastrophic floods of the Yellow River. Unlike his predecessors who attempted to block the waters, Yu implemented a strategy of dredging and creating channels, redirecting the floodwaters and thus mitigating their destructive impact. This monumental achievement not only safeguarded agricultural lands, but also facilitated the emergence of a centralized state. Yu's flood control efforts symbolize the dawn of statecraft and centralized authority in ancient China. His ability to mobilize and organize labor for such an extensive hydraulic project is seen as a precursor to later state-controlled infrastructure undertakings. After his success in taming the floods, Yu is said to have been chosen as the leader, marking the beginning of the Xia Dynasty. His reign is credited with establishing the precedent of hereditary succession and setting the stage for future dynasties. The Shang Dynasty, 1600 BCE to 1046 BCE. The rise of Chinese civilization. Bronze Age. The Shang Dynasty heralded the beginning of China's Bronze Age, characterized by remarkable advancements in metallurgy and technology. Shang artisans mastered the art of bronze casting, producing a wide array of weapons, tools, and ritual vessels that were integral to both daily life and religious practices. The complexity and craftsmanship of Shang bronzes are evident in their detailed decorations and inscriptions, showcasing sophisticated techniques and artistic expression. Bronze technology was central to Shang society, not only for its practical applications, but also for its role in the socio-political and religious spheres. The production and control of bronze were closely tied to the power of the ruling elite, who used these items in elaborate rituals to communicate with ancestors and deities. This connection between technology, religion, and governance illustrates the intricate interplay of various aspects of Shang civilization. Oracle bones. One of the most significant contributions of the Shang Dynasty to Chinese civilization is the development of the earliest known Chinese writing system found on oracle bones. These bones, primarily ox scapulae and turtle plastrons, were used by Shang diviners to predict the future and seek guidance from ancestors. Inscriptions on these bones, consisting of logographic characters, represent the nascent form of Chinese script and provide a direct link to the language used in later periods. The oracle bone inscriptions offer invaluable insights into the political, social, and religious life of the Shang dynasty. They reveal the concerns of the ruling class, ranging from agricultural yields and military campaigns to royal health and weather patterns. These divinatory practices underscore the importance of ancestor worship and the belief in the supernatural as integral components of Shang governance and culture. Capital cities. The archaeological site of Anyang, the last capital of the Shang dynasty, reveals a sophisticated urban center with complex structures and artifacts that reflect the height of Shang civilization. Excavations at Anyang have uncovered remains of palaces, temples, royal tombs, and workshops, illustrating the architectural and organizational capabilities of the Shang people. The city was carefully planned, with distinct areas for administrative, residential, and ceremonial functions. The royal tombs at Anyang, such as the tomb of Fu Hao, provide a wealth of information about Shang society, including the elaborate burial practices and the significance of ritual offerings. These tombs contained not only human sacrifices, but also an array of grave goods, including bronzes, jades, and ceramics, highlighting the wealth and power of the Shang elite. The craftsmanship and artistry evident in these artifacts underscore the cultural achievements of the Shang dynasty and its influence on subsequent Chinese history. The Zhou Dynasty, 1046 to 256 BCE. The longest dynasty, Western Zhou, 1046 to 771 BCE. The Zhou dynasty began with the overthrow of the Shang dynasty around 1046 BCE. This transition introduced the significant concept of the mandate of heaven, which provided divine legitimacy to the ruler's authority, suggesting that the gods granted the right to rule to just and moral leaders. Under the Western Zhou, a feudal system was established where the king allocated lands to loyal nobles, who in turn managed their own territories and provided military support to the king. This period was marked by relative stability and prosperity, facilitating agricultural advancements and cultural developments. Eastern Zhou, 770 to 256 BCE. The Eastern Zhou period began after the relocation of the Zhou capital to Luoyang, following invasions and internal conflicts. This era is characterized by significant political fragmentation and constant warfare among rival states, leading to the division into the Spring and Autumn period, 770 to 476 BCE, and the Warring States period, 475 to 221 BCE. Despite the turmoil, this time was also an era of intellectual and cultural flourishing, laying the groundwork for many aspects of Chinese civilization. Philosophical flourishing, Confucianism. Confucius, known as Confuzi, lived during the Eastern Zhou period and developed a philosophy centered on morality, family loyalty, and social harmony. His teachings, recorded in the Analects, emphasize virtues such as benevolence, righteousness, and filial piety. Confucianism profoundly shaped Chinese social structures, education, and government policies, becoming a cornerstone of Chinese culture and ethics. Daoism. Laozi, the sage traditionally credited with founding Daoism, emphasized living in accordance with the Tao, or the Way, which represents the fundamental principle that underlies and unites all things in the universe. Daoist philosophy advocates for simplicity, spontaneity, and non-interference with the natural course of events. The key text, Tao Te Ching, attributed to Laozi, outlines these principles and has had a lasting influence on Chinese spirituality and cultural practices. Legalism. Legalism emerged as a dominant school of thought during the later part of the Zhou Dynasty, advocating for a pragmatic and authoritarian approach to governance. Thinkers like Han Feizi argued that strict laws and severe punishments were necessary to maintain social order and centralized control. Legalism's emphasis on state power and rigid enforcement of laws played a critical role in shaping the administrative and political systems of subsequent Chinese dynasties. The Qin Dynasty, 221 to 206 BCE. Unification of China. Qin Shi Huang. The Qin Dynasty, though short-lived, was pivotal in Chinese history. Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China, conquered the warring states and established a centralized empire. His reign saw the standardization of weights, measures, and the writing system, which facilitated administration and communication across the vast territory. Qin Shi Huang also initiated monumental construction projects, including the first version of the Great Wall, to protect against northern invasions. Legalism in practice. The Qin dynasty was heavily influenced by legalist principles, which emphasized centralized control and stringent laws. These policies led to significant administrative reforms, including the division of the empire into administrative units governed by officials appointed by the emperor. While these measures improved efficiency and control, they were often implemented with harshness and rigidity, resulting in widespread discontent among the populace. The fall. The Qin dynasty's downfall was precipitated by its oppressive policies and the harshness of its rule. Following the death of Qin Shi Huang, the central authority weakened and widespread dissatisfaction erupted into rebellion. The combination of harsh legal measures, heavy taxation, and forced labor on massive projects like the Great Wall contributed to the dynasty's rapid collapse, leading to its overthrow by insurgent forces and the subsequent rise of the Han Dynasty. The Han Dynasty, 206 BCE to 220 CE. A Golden Age. Liu Bang. Liu Bang, also known as Emperor Gaozu, rose from humble origins to establish the Han Dynasty following the chaotic end of the Qin Dynasty. His reign marked the beginning of a long period of stability and prosperity, which is often referred to as one of the golden ages of Chinese history. Liu Bang's pragmatic approach to governance, including the reduction of harsh Qin legalism and the implementation of Confucian principles, helped to consolidate his power and lay the foundation for a flourishing empire. Silk Road. The Han Dynasty was instrumental in the expansion of trade routes, most notably the Silk Road, which connected China to distant regions such as the Roman Empire and India. This network facilitated not only economic exchanges, but also cultural interactions, spreading Chinese goods, ideas, and technologies across continents. The Silk Road significantly enhanced the wealth and influence of the Han Dynasty, making it a key player in ancient global trade. Cultural and technological advancements. Inventions. The Han period was marked by remarkable technological innovations that had a lasting impact on Chinese society and beyond. Among these were the invention of paper, which revolutionized record-keeping and literature, the development of the seismograph, an early earthquake detection device, and advancements in metallurgy and agriculture that improved productivity and quality of life. These inventions underscore the ingenuity and scientific achievements of the Han era. Literature and science. The Han Dynasty saw the institutionalization of Confucianism as the state philosophy, influencing education, politics, and society. Scholars compiled significant historical and literary works, including Sima Qian's Records of the Grand Historian, which provided comprehensive accounts of Chinese history and culture. This period also witnessed advancements in astronomy, medicine, and other scientific fields, contributing to the intellectual richness of the era. The decline. The latter part of the Han Dynasty was plagued by internal conflicts, including political corruption, the undue influence of eunuchs at court, and widespread peasant unrest. One of the most significant uprisings was the Yellow Turban Rebellion, which highlighted the discontent among the peasantry and the inability of the central government to maintain control. These internal issues weakened the dynasty and set the stage for its eventual downfall. The fall. The Han Dynasty officially came to an end in 220 CE, when the last emperor, Xian of Han, abdicated the throne. This marked the beginning of the Three Kingdoms period, a time of fragmentation and civil war. The fall of the Han Dynasty ushered in an era of division, where regional warlords and rival factions vied for power, leading to decades of instability. The Three Kingdoms period, 220 to 280 CE. Division and warfare. Wei, Shu, and Wu. Following the collapse of the Han Dynasty, China was divided into three rival kingdoms: Wei, Shu, and Wu. This period was characterized by continuous warfare, shifting alliances, and political intrigue as each kingdom sought to dominate the others. The leaders of these states, including Cao Cao of Wei, Liu Bei of Shu, and Sun Quan of Wu, employed various military strategies and political maneuvers to expand their territories and secure their rule. Romanticized history. The Three Kingdoms period is famously romanticized in the historical novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, written by Luo Guanzhong in the 14th century. This literary masterpiece dramatizes the exploits and rivalries of the era's legendary figures, transforming them into cultural icons. The novel's portrayal of loyalty, strategy, and heroism has had a profound influence on Chinese literature, art, and popular culture, keeping the stories of this tumultuous period alive in the collective memory. The Jin Dynasty, 266 to 420 CE. Brief reunification. Sima Yan. The Jin Dynasty emerged after the fall of the Three Kingdoms, with Sima Yan, Emperor Wu, successfully reunifying China under his rule. However, the Jin Dynasty struggled to maintain stability as internal power struggles and court intrigues weakened its authority. The dynasty faced continuous threats from nomadic tribes, such as the Xiongnu, who exploited the Jin's internal weaknesses and launched invasions, leading to significant territorial losses and instability. Northern and Southern Dynasties. The collapse of the Jin Dynasty resulted in China splitting into the Northern and Southern dynasties, each developing distinct cultures and political systems. The northern dynasties were characterized by the rule of various nomadic tribes who adopted Chinese customs, while the southern dynasties continued the traditions of the Han Chinese. This period of division set the stage for further cultural and social evolution in both regions. The northern and southern dynasties, 420 to 589 CE. Continued division. Cultural flourishing. Despite the political fragmentation, the Northern and Southern Dynasties period was marked by significant cultural and technological advancements. Art and literature flourished, with notable developments in painting, calligraphy, and poetry. Buddhism spread widely, influencing both religious practices and artistic expressions. This era saw the creation of stunning Buddhist sculptures and the construction of impressive temples and cave complexes, such as those at Dunhuang. Sinicization. In the north, many of the nomadic conquerors gradually adopted Chinese culture, language, and administrative practices, a process known as Sinicization. This blending of cultures led to a unique synthesis that enriched the cultural tapestry of China. The adoption of Chinese ways by the northern rulers facilitated the eventual reunification of China, as these rulers sought to legitimize their authority through the emulation of traditional Chinese governance and cultural norms. The Sui Dynasty, 581 to 618 CE. Reunification and reforms. Yangshao, Emperor Wen. The Sui Dynasty, founded by Yangshao, Emperor Wen, achieved the reunification of China after nearly 3 centuries of division. Emperor Wen implemented a series of reforms to centralize power and restore order, including the restructuring of the bureaucracy to ensure greater efficiency and control. One of the Sui dynasty's most significant achievements was the construction of the Grand Canal, which improved transportation and facilitated economic integration between the northern and southern regions of China. Despite its initial successes, the Sui dynasty's ambitious projects and extensive military campaigns placed a heavy strain on the empire's resources. The construction of the Grand Canal and other infrastructural projects, while beneficial in the long term, led to increased taxation and forced labor, causing widespread discontent. Additionally, costly military campaigns, particularly against the Korean peninsula, overextended the empire and drained its treasury. These factors contributed to widespread rebellion and the eventual fall of the Sui dynasty, paving the way for the rise of the Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 CE. A new golden age. Li Yuan, Emperor Gaozu. The Tang Dynasty was founded by Li Yuan, later known as Emperor Gaozu, after the fall of the Sui dynasty. His reign marked the beginning of one of the most illustrious periods in Chinese history, characterized by immense cultural, economic, and military achievements. Under Tang rule, China expanded its territories, consolidated its power, and enjoyed a prolonged era of peace and prosperity that facilitated the flourishing of arts and sciences. Chang'an. The Tang capital, Chang'an, became one of the largest and most cosmopolitan cities in the world during this period. As a hub of trade, culture, and diplomacy, it attracted scholars, merchants, and diplomats from various parts of Asia and beyond. Chang'an's vibrant marketplaces, grand palaces, and bustling streets exemplified the prosperity and cultural dynamism of the Tang era, making it a center of learning and innovation. Cultural and technological flourishing, poetry and art. The Tang Dynasty is renowned for its contributions to literature and the arts. This era produced some of China's greatest poets, including Li Bai and Du Fu, whose works remain influential to this day. Tang poetry celebrated nature, friendship, and personal reflection, capturing the essence of the human experience. Additionally, advancements in painting, ceramics, and music reflected the sophisticated aesthetic sensibilities of the period, resulting in enduring masterpieces. Inventions. Technological innovations during the Tang Dynasty had a profound impact on Chinese society and beyond. The development of woodblock printing revolutionized the dissemination of literature and knowledge, making books more accessible and promoting literacy. Furthermore, improvements in agricultural techniques, such as the widespread use of the heavy plow and the introduction of new rice strains, significantly boosted productivity and supported population growth. Decline. And Lushan Rebellion. The stability and prosperity of the Tang Dynasty were severely disrupted by the An Lushan Rebellion, a massive uprising led by General An Lushan in 755 CE. This rebellion caused widespread devastation and weakened the central authority, leading to a decline in the dynasty's power. Although the Tang eventually quelled the rebellion, the empire never fully recovered, and subsequent internal strife and corruption led to its fragmentation into smaller kingdoms and warlord states. The 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms period, 907 to 960 CE. Fragmentation and chaos. Political turmoil. After the fall of the Tang Dynasty, China entered a period of intense political fragmentation known as the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms period. This era was marked by a rapid succession of short-lived dynasties and numerous regional kingdoms vying for control. Continuous warfare, shifting alliances, and the constant rise and fall of rulers characterized this chaotic time. Despite the political instability, some regions experienced cultural and economic growth, laying the groundwork for future reunification.